Hey guys, it's Brad, and I'm back with a live stream, but it is more of just talking and the story. So I won't really be talking to anybody about what's going on in the game. I'm just playing this just so I can have something in the background. But anywho, today I am talking about my first job outside of high school, which was Pizza Hut.
Hi.
I don't have much bad to say about my time at Pizza Hut, but it was very interesting to say the least. I've been watching a lot of YouTube videos with the people talking about their food service and or working in retail or anything like that. So I'm just gonna start from the beginning. If I forget something, I'll come back to it because I'm really scatterbrained. So I'm gonna go ahead and just, I guess, jump into the game and play this while I tell you guys about Pizza Hut. So I got hired at Pizza Hut June. I think it was like
Maya Brew.
I think it was at the end of June. Yeah, the end of June. And of 2010. So I graduated at the beginning of June 2010. I got hired at Pizza Hut June like 25th. Like it's actually like 6 years to the day to when I got hired to my current job. So I got hired. I got interviewed by the restaurant manager, and the restaurant manager was really cool. His name was, I'm not gonna say any real names, but let's just call him. It started with a C. So the manager's name C. He hired me. He was really cool, down to earth. He was like, I only work here because of college. Like he owes college money and stuff. I think he went to like UNC or something. He was pretty cool. So um he hired me. I started the next week. I came in, did the paperwork and whatever, and everybody seemed pretty cool. There was a guy, I started with an S. He wound up being a manager too. Like right after I started, he got put into the manager role. But I need to mute myself. So he got put in the manager role, and he was actually pretty cool too. Um, so let's skip ahead. I don't think anything really interesting happened when I first started. It was just being nervous and whatever. Um, so I started. I think maybe I went on vacation. No, I remember now. I went on vacation in September. It was like mid-September, and he gave me like 4 days off, which is pretty cool. So I was off like Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and then the district manager came in and they got into it and he quit. So I come back that Monday or Sunday, one of them days, Monday, and I'm like, "Well, where's the boss at?" I was like, "Oh, yeah, he got fired." I'm like, "What?" He's like, "Yeah, he just kind of, well, I guess he just walked out. I don't know if he got fired or walked out or whatever." So that was a thing I came back to. So they were looking for a new restaurant manager, so they were like training. We had a guy that came in. His name started with a J. I think it was like Jason or Jared or something like that. And he was like really religious, but he was like beyond religious. He was like I looked him up on Facebook, and like his Facebook picture is like a picture of him, and he was like, um, it was weird. Like I can't even explain it. Like he just had like
How was those wings? Mine was good.
the wings were great, but so what happened was he was just weird. Like he had like his Facebook picture was a picture of him and like his twin babies, and he had him holding them up to his face. I mean, he was just a weirdo. Well, I don't know. He was just weird, but he was like super strict. And we had the district manager, he was a cool guy, but he was just kind of like, oh, I'm a top of Pizza Hut and blah blah blah, and it was just like it was kind of awkward. But he was all right. Like, there wasn't many people I didn't like at this place.
He was a little magoo.
He was a little, yeah, Magoo, yeah. Well, what's that from? Uh, what's that from? Oh, Liar Liar, yeah. I watched that a couple days ago actually. Um, so anyways, yeah, he was Magoo, yeah. He was. That's a good word for it. So we he worked with us for. I was actually got switched to mornings at that point, and I worked mornings a lot of my time at Pizza Hut. So at mornings, like you get people calling at like 10, like you open at 11, you get people calling at 10:30, being like, "Well, it's lunchtime in a minute, and I kind of want a personal pan." I'm like, "Cool, like, you want to come pick it up?" They're like, "No, I want it delivered." And like delivery, you have to have at least $10. So they'd order like breadsticks and a soda, and you wouldn't get tipped. So you drive all the way, like you would drive like 6 miles out of the way for no tip. Like it was stupid. So, um, it was just dumb. So I and the funny thing is everybody in this lobby can hear my story, so that's pretty great. So yeah, guys, you're listening to my Pizza Hut story that I'm live streaming right now. Um, so yeah, the manager, he was just real weird, and they hired this guy, and I thought he was like a cook. He came in, and I was like, this guy is, he was kind of a Magoo too. He was like, hey guys, how's it going? I'm like, good. Why are you so happy to be at Pizza Hut? So he comes in and messes up a lot. Like he would order, like let's say I live in Charlotte, okay, and somebody would order a delivery, and he wouldn't. Wait a minute, yeah, wait a minute. So I think this is Brandon listening to me. So yeah, no, it's not him. It's not that guy. I'm trying to keep names. Yeah, I'm trying to keep names away from it. But yeah, they did hire a bladder. So they hired this guy. Let's just call him. His name starts with a G. Let's just call him Gavin. Okay. So they hired this guy, and he's just super duper like. I'm happy to be at Pizza Hut. His wife was actually like a doctor. Like she made like $100,000 a year.
Well, that's not really his name though.
So Bladder's not really his name. So they hired him in, like, say we live in Charlotte. Let's just say Charlotte, and he would get a delivery. Instead of getting their address, he would just put Charlotte. So we're like, where are we going to deliver this to? And he was just like really kind of slow getting out of the gates, but he got hired, and my brother's in here, so he'll be able to vouch for this. He was all about Pizza Hut. He was like, we need good people in charge. I'm like, cool. So he was like, Brad, I want you to be a manager. I'm like, well, I kind of enjoy driving. He's like, no, you're just going to be a manager for 2 days a week, but I need you to be a manager. All right, well, I go to college, so being a manager 2 days a week won't be too bad because I just enjoy driving because it's less pressure, but I also want to be in charge. So they did the training and everything. During training, my brother actually, oh man, I was only there for like 6 months at this point. So my brother was getting married, and he wouldn't let me off for the wedding. He's like, well, we're training you to be a manager, man, so we need you here. I'm like, okay. All right, that's fine. So the first night, I think it's the night he got married, actually, I was in charge. No, it was like 2 weeks later. It was a Friday, but it wasn't the night he got married. I was in charge, and they did like $3,000, which for Pizza Hut, that's a lot of money. Like normally on a Friday, it's like 2,000, 1,500. So it was real busy and stuff, and I handled it pretty well. But one thing about Pizza Hut that you guys should all know, if you ever get a pizza and it's super saucy, they're really sticklers about the cheese. Like when they make your pizza, they would short you cheese because a pound of cheese cost them, I don't know, like let's say $1. Like they were super strict about cheese costs and food costs. Even though we were like eating all the wings and stuff, like for instance, we would be like 20 pounds shorter wings, and they're like, well, that kind of sucks, but just make sure you don't, use too much cheese. I'm like, wings are more expensive than cheese, but okay. Whatever. So they put me in charge of manager, and I was managing like 4 nights a week and driving 2 nights. I think the only day I had off is like Saturday to go racing, but sorry, I had to get something to drink. I have no clue what I'm doing in this game, by the way. I'm just kind of running around. So I got Saturdays off, but I worked Friday, Monday. Sometimes I think I was off like on Wednesdays. Sometimes.
How many wings did we get for like $5 the time?
Oh, Thank you, Brandon. I'm glad you're in here so I can share the story. So yeah, I came in the Pizza Hut. I was a manager at the time, and this guy named, well, his name is JP. That's his initials, and he was a ex-Marine, and he had like PTSD, so he was just like real skittish. So I we went in there, and he's like, "Man, we're super busy. We got this delivery that's been sitting there. Can you take it?" I'm like, "Well, I'm here to order wings, man." He goes, "You take this delivery, you can have as many wings as you want." I'm like, "Cool. All right, cool." So I went down there and I dropped. You get them by eights. The bag had 8 in there. I'm pretty sure I dropped 10 bags. So 80 wings. He only charged me like $10. So we drop them. They get done. We put a bunch of sauce on them, and we go to the delivery. And I wound up getting the tip. So basically, it was like free at that point because I got a tip for the driver. Um, we went home, ate the wings. It was great. Like I miss those days because I eat so many wings now. Like I'm addicted to wings. So not working at Pizza Hut. I've actually told my wife that I want to go back to work at Pizza Hut like one day a week, just so I can like you know snatch some wings. So, anyways, we had a guy that worked there named Jeff. Oh my God, that scared me. Um, the guy named Jeff that I worked with, I'm supposed to be protecting names, but I don't know, like Jeff's a pretty common name. And he used to be like a big gamer and stuff, and he taught me like all the areas not to go to and stuff, and he was like the lead driver. He was like, "I'm a lead driver," but I mean, he's pretty cool. I hung out with him, but I'm not mocking him. But he's like, "I'm a lead driver. I know all of the ins and outs and stuff." Um, so he wound up quitting. I wonder how he's doing now because he was like, "I'm quitting to go make $9 an hour," and he was like, "That's great." I'm like, "Yeah, $9 an hour is not that great." Um, I think I got on my team. So yeah, he quit, but he was pretty funny. Like the things that he said and stuff. He used to call Pizza Hut, and I would pick up the phone, and I would just talk to him for like hours. It's pretty funny. Like, well, not hours, for like 10 minutes, just to get off the phone or just to get off the floor. But yeah, he was working there, and he wound up quitting. We hired this dude named Caleb that was like, I'm saying real names. Whatever. Caleb was a common name too. He was kind of like weird, kind of, but I mean, I try to get him hired back on because he's the one that trained me. So he was all right. But yeah, so I worked there. I guess I was a manager
That's
at this
crazy.
point. Um, I was a manager at in I guess from March to like this is 2011, right? Yeah, March to like let's say October. The reason I stopped being a manager was because I used to like cutting people, and they want you to have as less people on the clock to pay, but they want you to let like the girls that come in for an hour that's in like college and high school to answer the phone. So if you're not busy, I'm supposed to cut them. So if we're not busy, I told them just not to come in. So like that was stressful, and then I had a guy named Bladder. His name was Bladder, swear to you. And he was the most incompetent person I've ever met in my life. Like he just couldn't do anything. Like he was just lazy. He couldn't do anything. He smelled like white people funk. Like when you go to like GameStop and a guy that smells like cigarettes and BO, that's that guy. So Bladder he was a nice guy, I guess. I was kind of mean to him, but he's not my responsibility. So I'd get him cut like every once in a while. I'd just be like, "Yeah, go home, I'll cook." And he didn't like me too much, but they actually made him a manager too. So it made me feel like my job wasn't important. Um, but I do have some bad stuff to tell you, and I'm gonna do another one of these, and it's gonna be about this other place I worked at.
Looked like Big Bossman from WWF.
He did look like Big Boss Man, yeah. I found a picture of him on my Facebook. Today actually looking through my Throwback Thursdays, but yeah, he did look like the Big Boss Man. But they would want me to go pick him up from his house because that was my job as a manager to make for sure my employees are at work. I was like, yeah, no, and then I would charge them like $20 to come pick them up. So that was a thing. So funny story actually. The trailer that he lived at, I was watching TV one day, and it was a murder mystery kind of deal, and it was actually in the city that we live in, and he there was a murder in the trailer that he lived at, like legit. I went and watched the episode, and it showed the house, and I was like, that is his trailer. And they had like a guy like cut his wife up and stuff in his trailer. It's pretty sick. So I thought that was kind of crazy. But anywho, we just goofed off most of the time working at Pizza Hut. But if there's one thing I can tell you about Pizza Hut is when you order their food that's super overpriced, they have like the $10 pizzas, which is a pretty good deal, but you can, any way you want it.
Did you tell him he smelled?
He smelled so bad. Like, really, I'm like, dude, you're gonna have to take a shower one of these days, man. Like, just one day. Well, it probably smelled like a dead body because he lived in a house or a trailer that was infested with dead bodies. So, anywho, something else. He was something else. But what was I saying? Oh yeah, about the food. Like they had a $10 anyway pizza, but it was like when they say any way you want it, it is like you could order supreme. You can't add
Car
anything to
story
it.
next.
Car. So you talking about me getting robbed or my car stolen? I can tell that one next. But yeah, because that happened in 2011. So yeah, it's around this time frame. So I don't think I was a manager. I had to step down as a
Yeah.
manager. So, yeah, Michael is just really annoying and stinks and just like he was getting all the hours and blah 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 blah. So, yeah, I just didn't care too much for him. But let's go back to the food. Okay, I don't want to get off topic too bad. The food is super duper overpriced. Like it literally costs like 10 cents for a pizza to be made, and they're charging you like 15 pizza. Like it's really a crime, and they didn't pay the most the manager made, other than the restaurant manager who made like 30,000, 40,000 a year maybe, was a manager I had named Jay, a girl named Jay. Like she was like always bringing her kids into work because she couldn't get a babysitter, and it's crazy. So they were really bad to her, but they paid that woman $9.10 an hour. I was like, and she's been there for like 6 years.
Dayum streaming again.
Yes, yes, I'm streaming. I'm just talking about Pizza Hut. I'm not really playing this game. I'm probably gonna die. I don't even know who's on my team, but oh, I gotta be hitting the plants. Okay. Um,
Bro-in-law, emoji hard eyes, emoji hard eyes. We know you wanted to come to the wedding, emoji red heart, you.
yes. I wanted to.
Pizza Hut boy and I.
Pizza Hut. Yes. So I'm gonna finish the story. So the food is overpriced. Like the wings, you get 8 wings, and now they're charging like I'm pretty sure they're charging like $6 or $7 for wings. Like it's like almost $1 a wing, and then Wing Wednesday is like you're paying like $4 or $5. I mean, it's stupid. So I didn't like I used to make wings every day. Their mild sauce is really good. Their hot is really good. Everything's the wings are the best part. Um, but being a driver there is actually very satisfying because you get paid minimum wage. I mean, as far as being in college, like if you're making minimum wage and then you're getting paid tips on top of it, it's a good place to like drive. But the work environment, like I said, the manager acted like it was the only job in the world. Like if you're gonna work here, you're gonna dedicate your life to it. So like I said, I missed weddings. He was just like, "Well, you got Saturday off, so I'll give you Saturdays off. So now you're gonna have to work for me." And he didn't mean it like that, but it's Pizza Hut. I mean, he was like, "You got school and stuff, I know, but don't you want to be a leader?" I'm like, "Yeah, but I'm in school." And he was just like, "But it's Pizza Hut. Like this is where you're working at. Don't you want to be great?" And I'm like, "Yeah, but dude, it's just Pizza Hut." So I was a manager for like 4 months. Right after I became Actually, I think it was right before I became a manager. Yeah, I wasn't even a manager yet, so I know I wasn't a manager, but I was driving, and they would make me close because nobody else wanted to close, even though I was like the person who's been there the longest. And so I would have to close. Let's see, like maybe 3 nights a week. I don't even remember. But nobody else wanted to close. They're like, "Well, Brad, he'll do it," you know. So it was like 10:30 at night, and they closed at 11. And they took an order for this really ghetto apartments. Like this place was like really bad. Like it's gotten better, I think. But like I looked up murders in these apartments, like murders that have happened on this address, and there's like 5 murders, like a couple unsolved mysteries and stuff. It's just it's silly. So I go out there. I'm like not thinking about it. You know, I've done this a million times. Left my keys in the car. So I'm like, I'm gonna run in, get out. Well, there's people hanging out up there, and like you know, you go up there and like they're like, "Hey, bro, what's up?" I'm like, "Hey, man, how y'all doing?" So I knock on the door, and the woman doesn't come to the door. So I go knock, 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 knock. So they don't come to the door. I'm like, okay, and I
Nickel
turn.
Town.
Um, what's up? That's
Nice
me.
houses.
What's up? It's Bradzilla. Anyways, listening to my story about Pizza Hut. They left, I think, but so yeah, very nice houses in Nickeltown. So I get there, you know, they're like, so basically the woman was like avoiding us. It was like, this is what I got out of it. It's like she faked an order, or they called the order in for her under her name so they could rob me. So I go out there and they steal my car. I'm like, okay, they steal like $200 out of my pocket, out of my wallet, and then they steal my iPod. And they took it for a joyride. They tried to use my debit card as debit, so like it got declined. Like these guys were something else. So they left my car across the street from Pizza Hut, and when they did that, the cops came and you know did the whole inspection, and they took the fingerprints and impounded it or whatever they had to do, and nothing was done about it. Like I gave them the serial number of the iPod. I mean, it just nothing was done. It wasn't that serious, I guess, because it was only like $400. I mean, cops stayed on it, and they were mad though. They're like, "Why do I have to come out here all the time?" So that happened, and I was like, "Well, don't you need to do an incident report on this?" And they're like, we can, but it's not that serious, to be honest with you. I'm like, I just got robbed. They're like, yeah, well, I told the district manager, and he was like, well, that
Dem
happens.
Drake CDs though.
Yeah, the Drake CD stayed, actually. I think they listened to it, and they're like, yeah, this is garbage. So, yeah, I had Drake's. I don't even like Drake. And I had Drake CDs getting stolen. So, I don't even know why I had Drake CDs now. I think there's a couple songs on there I liked. What song was it? What's it called? I don't even know the songs anymore. Um, so yeah, car got stolen, and
One
then
question: is this game boring to you?
this game is very boring, but it's because I don't think anybody's on it, and I haven't.
UDAFN best.
Yeah, that's it. That's what you. Yeah, that's the song. This game's all right. It's kind of like just Call of Duty ish or whatever. It's one of the shooters, but so I was always driving, like taking my keys out of the car and just being super careful all the time. So then we had the guy with the PTSD working, JP. He was a manager, and he was just like always touching you, which isn't cool. Like he was always like just grabbing my arm, telling me to do stuff, and he was something. Like he had pet ferrets. Like he let me over his house. He's like, I have a ferret. I'm like, why? He's like, oh, they're cool pets. They shit everywhere. I'm like, oh, that's cool. That's cool, man. Why would I want one? He's like, because look what they can do. And like, I wrapped around his finger, and they were biting on his finger and stuff. I mean, it was just a ferret. I mean, I don't know. So he's a little strange, but you know, whatever. So he sent me on a delivery at like 11 o'clock, and we closed at 11. And I'm like, whatever, dude. Like, I know it's not gonna be a tip. Well, the guy's apartment is in the back, and there's no lights. I'm like, yeah, I'm not getting robbed. So I called or excuse me, he's not. He's a customer. I called the customer and said, "Hey, I
Dike,
need."
you hit him with the firecracker one night.
I don't remember. That's the story that doesn't remember me. I don't remember that story. He was like, well, he took the order. I went out there. Hold on.
Are you new to this game?
Kinda. I'm kind of new to this game. I haven't played it in like 4 years, like legit. But so he made me take the delivery. And I called the customer up. I'm like, hey, dude, I'm not going back here in the dark. He's like, people do it all the time, man. I'm like, yeah, but I
You
don't
did
know
something
you.
loud and freaked him out.
So yeah, I did something like phone ringing or something. I prank called the store, or I did something to mess with him. So yeah, so I went out there and the guy wouldn't want to come outside. So the manager called him, was like, hey, our driver doesn't want to deliver out there. Can you just meet him at the front? He comes out and goes, all right, I'll walk you to my apartment. I was like, no, I'm not. Like, just pay me now and take your pizza. Like, why do I have to walk back there? Oh yeah, like you didn't want to carry your pizza to your apartment for like, all you have to do is walk back to your apartment with the pizza. That's it. He's like, well, my money's at the apartment. I said, well, go get your money and come back. So I tell him I'm not doing it, and he's like, go home. I'm like, okay. I went home. So he called the restaurant manager, and he called me, and I told him the story. He's like, okay, I'll talk to him about it. So the restaurant manager called the customer and apologized. He went out there like, yeah, I could see how it can be dark or whatever. Apologized to the customer for me not wanting to deliver to a sketchy area. And then he like gave him free food and stuff, which was funny. This guy, he's a funny guy. People would come in and be like, hey, I never had that lasagna. So he would give them like $30 worth of free food. Just like, I said, what is this? He goes, well, I didn't ring it up because they never had it before. They needed to try it. I was like, you serious, dude? He's like, yeah, yeah, yeah. So he just gave out. I mean, he was just kind of like a nice guy, but he was too nice for his own good because he just kept giving out free food. So that guy, that's the G guy, Gavin. We call him Gavin, right? And JP was something else. So with the guy, he's the guy that like was scared of everything. So yeah, so they lost a manager, which was me, I believe, is the one they lost.
Baskin Robbins Pizza.
No clue what that is. So they had to hire somebody. So he's like, I got a friend who can work here. He has the magical skills to work at Pizza Hut. So they hired this guy. He's the worst manager they've ever had. Like I've ever worked with. He just didn't know what to do. He was slow.
Free samples.
He used to be a Marine too, or he used to be in the Army. Well, he would like, I'd get off at 5 o'clock. He would take a delivery at 5 o'clock and make me say, you're going to have to wait for that and then take the order. I'm like, no, I'm clocking out right now. He goes, no. And then he would take it for like this place called, let's call it TW. It's a apartment for like Section 8 apartments, but they're in like an old hotel. So I would go out there, this is what he wanted me to do. He wanted me to take the pizza at like 5:15, drive 15 minutes there, get stiffed and not tipped. So I'm just gonna get there and the guy's gonna be like, "Oh, here's the correct change, keep it." So I'm gonna go out there, I'm gonna get no tip, come back 45 minutes after I was supposed to be off.
My charter story
And
there. Emoji happy tears. Emoji happy tears.
oh yeah, my brother was in the elevator with a guy who was hitting on him. He's like, "Oh, that's a nice jacket. I got pants made out of that same material." And so that's yeah. There's people like that. I had somebody one time go, because I don't think they're even supposed to deliver there. He goes, "Hey man, that's a nice looking pizza, man. Like you got y'all deliver out here?" I'm like, "I'm out here, ain't I?" I was like, "Nah, Cherrydale does." Well, oops. Yeah, another store does. So, yeah, we don't deliver here. And then like people would talk to me, and they'd be like, "Hey, like how's delivering pizza for Pizza Hut?" I was like, "It's terrible. Don't talk to me." And they were like, "Oh, okay, man, you straight." So yeah, it was just weird areas like that. I've only been robbed once, so that's a good ratio. But they would hire like just college kids like me and like potheads and like guy was smoking weed out of him. He would buy a Mountain Dew bottle and I would sell it to him and I'm like, why do you need Mountain Dew bottles? He bought like 3 or 4 a night. He's like, I'm just gonna roll up and put something in here and smoke it out of like he smoked out of apples, McDonald's or Mountain Dew bottles. I mean, Pizza Hut box. I mean, he didn't care. He was just a. I have no clue why I'm running around in circles. Um, he was just like one of the
Pepsi on the
MacGyver.
roof.
Yeah, and yeah, all the Pepsis ended up on the roof too, thanks to me. So, um, I feel like I'm like going all over the place with this story, but yeah, they hired that guy, and he wound up was like that day that he wanted me to deliver to that TW's. I said no. He goes, it's either you deliver it or you're fired. I go, well, I guess I'm looking for a new job. So I went home and the manager called me and said, hey, did you refuse to deliver? I'm like, yeah, because I'm supposed to get off and I'm not going to wait, work an hour later just because of him not having enough drivers. He's like, okay, well, I talked to him. So he went up to him and goes, what is this? So he goes up to him and goes, hey, you can't make Brad take that delivery. So he goes, well, it's either Brad or me. He goes, I'm not firing Brad. So he quit. So that's how his story ended. What name did I give him? Oh, he's just a crazy army guy. I even forgot his name. Like, I have no clue what that guy's name is to this day. But he was friends with the other army guy, and I think he wound up quitting, too. But so I'm gonna wrap up. I might think of other stories, but the way I ended my Pizza Hut time, I was on borrowed time there. As far as working for him, not a bad company. Like, most of the time you go on YouTube and people's like, oh, it's a terrible company. It wasn't bad, which I'm going to go to another story. I'm not going to do it today, but it's about working at Stakeout. And it was a family-owned business, and that I have some stories. The woman was like a nice lady outside of work, but she was sexist. Like she hated men. Like it was all. Like, she basically said she hates men. Like she everything without saying I hate men. She said about hating men. So that's another story for another day. But the way I ended my Pizza Hut career was one night we were working, and it comes off as racist. So I mean, if anybody's watching this is African American or whatever, I'm sorry, but I'm not racist. But it comes off as racist. They was looking for a reason to fire me. So we had this one guy. I think his name's like Tico or something. I don't even know his name, but I'm gonna go with Tico. He was working, and everybody's just standing around. I'm gonna go, well, why is like Tico's the only one that ever works? He goes, is it because I'm black? And I go, no, it's because you're the only one that ever works. So he went back and told the manager that I said that.
Do you still go to Pizza Hut, MOG Pizza?
No, I'll answer that in just 1 second. Let me finish this ending story. So he was like, Brad said that only black people around here work. I'm like, no, I didn't. He's like, yeah. And so they go, Brad, we don't tolerate that in the workplace. We're going to have to let you go. This was actually on Halloween, 2 years after I started, like 2.5 years of being at Pizza Hut. I was a Pizza Hut driver for 2.5 years, which was, I've had some good times. It was just, like I was working 40 hours and it was actually time to go because I just translated out of, leaving college, and I needed an actual job, but I didn't want Pizza Hut. So what happened is, this is going to translate to a next story, which will be about my job at Stakeout. That's what job I got after Pizza Hut. But they just wanted you to work all the time, and this is how they mess you up. This is how I knew it was time to go. I mean, I was doing everything just to get fired. Like Pepsi's were up on the roof. I mean, that was they were like, we're 100 Pepsi short. I'm like, well, check the roof. They're up there, I think. So I was just really lazy, like at the end. But this is something else. Obamacare came out in 2012. And what had happened was when Obamacare came out, I had to get my hours cut from 40 to 30. So this is how it worked out. I was going to college and working 40 hours a week. Okay? As soon as I get out of college, get done with college and doing everything, Pizza Hut goes, well, we got Obamacare and we can't give you insurance because you're just the driver now. So we have to give you like 20 hours a week, which it was all right, but they was like, it was just a crappy 20 hours. It was like close in or more. No, they gave me mornings. You don't get any kind of deliveries in the morning. I was going to like college that was in like a building, and it was like the ladies that worked there, and they're like, I want 1,500 wings, and then you get out there and it'd be like a party of people, and they pay you exact change. Like it was stupid. I was delivering to the news channel, and I'd get there and it'd be like 7 people's order, and they'd be like, well, you said it was $35, right? And I'm like, yeah. And I'm like, well, here's 36 for your troubles. I'm like, okay. That was the kind of work I was doing. But yeah, I'm gonna put it on a scale 1 to 10. I've had some bad jobs, which I'll talk about some bad jobs. I want to start out Pizza Hut because it's my first job, or my first like out of high school. I worked at Sonic. Funny story about Sonic. The woman that worked there was like, she hired me at 14, and the woman was pretty crazy. Like she was a terrible manager. I think Sonic is a I think it was just management, but the management was bad. So, anyways, about Pizza Hut, I left there. My next story would be about Stakeout. And this is all restaurant stories, so I think I got Stakeout. I might say about
Wash
working in
your
the warehouse.
hands on your own time.
Yeah, she won. Yeah, okay. Sonic story is actually, this is what's stupid. You're supposed to wash your hands 30 minutes after every 30 minutes. Well, we got slammed, and I forgot to wash my hands. So, I have no clue what I'm doing. So I forgot to wash my hands after 30 minutes, and she comes over and goes, you need to stop what you're doing and wash your hands. I said, well, if I stop what I'm doing, I'm going to be backed up. She goes, I don't care. So I had to wash my hands for a minute and a half. That's the rule. So I'm like, okay. Well, I walked over there and washed my hands. I was there for a minute and a half washing my hands while I was getting backed up. So it made my job harder. And this woman, I've never seen this woman wash her hands before. So I'm like, okay. And she was just like wanting me to come in. Like I asked for 1 day off, like a week ahead. She's like, I need a 2-week notice for a day off. I'm like, woman, I work 5 hours a week. Like, what do you need from me? Like, I'm not important. So I don't think it was working out, and she was just wanting me to quit. So I only worked there like a month. I made like $100. So it was fun though. I got free drinks, and like if a good manager was there, she would like give me food. Like the other manager made me pay full price for food and stuff. But yeah, she was something else. But anyways, back to Pizza Hut at the end of my day. Scale 1 to 10, I would say as far as like a college job or high school job. Well, we can't really high school as a driver. I would say it's a 7, 6, 7 out of 10. Unless it changed in the last 6 years. But it wasn't bad. Like, according to what kind of manager you can have any food you want. It's just one of them jobs where they want you to, like, come in and be basically put on call. Stakeout is probably, come and talk about Stakeout, it's probably going to be one of them jobs that's going to be a lower rating just because the manager. The job might not have been bad. Well, the job was bad, but the manager was the problem. The management, because it was family owned, and it's actually out of business now, which is sad because the food was really good, but it was super expensive and stupid. But that will be next, the next time I do a food service stories. But I got a lot of stories about Pizza Hut. I worked there a long time. I just can't think off the top of my head. If I'm in a stream and I think of it, I'll somebody just bring it up. Like, hey, tell me some Pizza Hut stories. I could probably tell you a couple. we really, I mean, I was bad at pizza. Like the stuff we did, like it was just crazy. Like um, this guy, I'm not saying who it was, but this guy unplugged the internet of the whole thing. And when he unplugged the internet, like we couldn't get online orders or anything because he wanted to get sent home. So I knew it was him, and I was just like, oh well, I don't know what's going on. So the manager who just worked 70 hours, and it was like I think it goes from like Sunday to Sunday. It was Sunday night. He just worked 80 hours for the week, and had to come back in after getting off at 6. Had to come back in at 7:30, and he was so mad. I was like, and the guy was like, well, that's why. And the manager that was in charge was the one that was the crazy Marine, and they like that was a problem. Like every time he was on shift, that would happen. Like the dude would pull the plug, and it's pretty funny. So, anyways, I'm gonna stop streaming. I'm really not doing anything on the game. I just did this for entertainment, so you have something in the background. The next one is gonna be what's it called? Stakeout. Yeah, that's what the name of it. Stakeout. Best cheeseburger I've ever had in my life is from Stakeout. But the management's crazy. But I appreciate you guys coming in here and listening. Like I said, it's a 6.5 out of 10 stars as far as that job. But I had some good memories there. It's just it was they were pretty understanding. Like one last story. I wore my contacts to sleep in, and it scratched my eye. I told them I couldn't come in. They're like, oh well, come in when you get your eye better. I'm like, okay, because when I tell you about Stakeout was 100 times worse than Pizza Hut. So yeah. Well, anyways, I'm gonna get off. It was fun telling my stories. If I think of any more, like I said, I might do another episode or whatever. But it was fun. I hope you guys have a great night. I finished my wings. I'm gonna watch a little bit of racing and then hang out around the house. So you guys have a good night, and we'll see you later.